Ambassador Zethkara's crystalline throat vibrated with satisfaction as she addressed the Galactic Council's assembled representatives. The holographic display behind her showed Earth, scarred, smoking, and silent. 3 rotations had passed since the final human transmission, and the orbital sensors detected no movement, no energy signatures, no trace of the stubborn species that had once dared challenge the established order. "Esteemed counselors," Zethkara proclaimed, her translator converting her harmonic speech into 1,000 different languages. "The human infestation has been successfully eradicated. Earth lies cleansed, ready for proper civilization to claim its resources." The assembled delegates, beings of scales, chitin, energy, and forms that defied easy description, rippled with approval. The Valdorian Empire's representative, a towering insectoid whose carapace bore the scars of a dozen campaigns, clicked his mandibles in what passed for applause among his kind. The ethereal whisper dancers swirled in patterns of contentment, their gaseous forms shimmering with pleased bioluminescence. Only the ancient keeper of archives, a being so old that most species had forgotten its original name, remained motionless in its hovering sphere. Its mechanical voice, barely audible above the celebration, carried a note of unease. The humans were resourceful. Perhaps verification protocols should be extended before we declare. "Keeper," Zethkara interrupted, her tone sharp enough to cut through the celebratory atmosphere. "Your caution, while admirable, is unnecessary. Our combined fleets reduced their homeworld to ash. No ship escaped our blockade. No transmission has emerged from their system. They are extinct as thoroughly as the predecessors who once thought themselves eternal." The Keeper's ancient sensors focused on the holographic Earth, studying readings that spoke of devastation beyond imagination. Cities turned to glass, oceans boiled to steam, continents cracked like broken shells. Yet something in the data patterns made its quantum consciousness flicker with uncertainty, a rhythm in the radiation signatures almost like a pulse. Deep beneath Earth's ravaged surface, in caverns that predated human civilization by eons, something stirred. Emergency protocols activated with the mechanical precision of systems designed not by humans, but by the species that had walked Earth's surface when humanity's ancestors were still learning to make fire. The predecessors, ancient, vanished, but not gone. Not entirely. Admiral Sarah Chen's eyes opened in her cryogenic pod as life support systems hummed to awakening around her. The neural interface fed her consciousness the situation reports. Surface bombardment complete, enemy fleets departing, all according to the plan humanity had discovered in ruins older than recorded history. The predecessors had faced extinction, once before, when the galaxy's current powers were young and hungry. They had prepared, hidden, waited, and when humans had stumbled upon their buried archives a century ago, they had found not just technology, but a legacy of patience and preparation that matched their own stubborn refusal to surrender. Fleet Admiral Chen to all vessels. She transmitted on quantum channels that bypassed conventional space entirely, speaking to ships that had been waiting in dimensions the Galactic Council didn't know existed. Operation Lazarus is approved. All units begin emergent sequence. Throughout the Sol system, space began to fold, not the crude hyperspace tunnels the galaxy's current civilizations used, but something far more elegant, dimensional pockets that had held humanity's true fleet in stasis for 3 years while the surface dwellers played their part as decoys. The first ship to emerge was the UES Lazarus itself, a vessel built using predecessor technology and human engineering, stretching 12 kilometers from prow to stern. Its hull bore the accumulated wisdom of 2 species, the patience of the Yao, ancients and the adaptive fury of humanity. Behind it came the remnants of humanity's true fleet, not the civilian vessels and converted cargo ships they had allowed the Council to destroy, but warships designed to fight a galaxy. Admiral Chen stood on the Lazarus's bridge, watching through quantum-enhanced sensors as similar fleets emerged throughout the galaxy. Hidden shipyards in dead systems, sleeper ships disguised as asteroids, entire human populations maintained. In stasis on worlds the Council had never bothered to properly survey. "Sir," reported Commander Hayes, her tactical officer. "We're detecting massive Council fleet movements. They're responding to emergent signatures across 17 sectors." "Let them come," Chen replied, her voice carrying the weight of 3 years of planning and a century of preparation. "Send the message. Across the galaxy, on every Council world, every fleet command center, every diplomatic station, the same transmission began broadcasting. Not in the harsh electromagnetic spectrum the galaxy was used to, but in gravitational waves that spoke directly to the quantum foundations of space-time itself, a language the predecessors had perfected and humanity had learned. The message was simple. Humanity sends its regards. Ambassador Zethkara's victory celebration died as reality rewrote itself around the Council chambers. Ships materialized not through hyperspace jumps, but by unfolding from dimensions that shouldn't have existed, their hulls bearing design elements that made ancient memories stir in the minds of the galaxy's oldest species. "Impossible," she whispered, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns of disbelief. "Those are predecessor configurations. The humans couldn't possibly—" "Oh, but we could," came a transmission from the lead human vessel, now hanging in space above the Council's orbital platform like a sword of judgment. Admiral Chen's voice carried across space with the calm certainty of someone who had spent 3 years planning this moment. "You see, ambassadors, humans have always been excellent students, and the predecessors left such thorough lessons." The Keeper of Archives rotated slowly in its sphere, its ancient sensors now recognizing patterns it hadn't seen for millions of years. "The humans found them," it whispered in languages older than most civilizations. "They found the first builders and learned their patience." Around Earth, the dimensional barriers continued falling as humanity's true fleet revealed itself. Ships that incorporated technology the galaxy had forgotten, crewed by humans who had spent subjective decades in training simulations, while their bodies waited in stasis. A species that had faced extinction and chosen not to flee or surrender, but to hide and prepare. "Council members," Admiral Chen continued, her image now displayed on screens throughout the galaxy, "humanity officially rejects your declaration of extinction. We're still here, we're still learning, and we've had 3 years to study your weaknesses while you celebrated our supposed death." The galaxy held its breath as fleets faced each other across the void. The established powers who had ruled for millennia, and the upstart species that had learned patience from teachers older than empires. In the silence between stars, 2 species wisdom merged, the predecessors' long view and humanity's stubborn refusal to stay dead. The real war was about to begin, and this time humanity had brought teachers,